Hey sis, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are doing a how to apply makeup for beginners. So the other day I did leave a post on just some suggestions that you guys wanted from me. So this video is a combination of a lot of those inquiries. I went in detail, step by step, each step to achieve a full face like this. So if you guys are interested, then just continue to watch. All right, sis, so let's get into the first step. Now, this is gonna be a 14-step process. We're gonna be really detailed in today's video, so I hope you guys are prepared. I know you guys love my detailed videos, so let's get into the first step. All right, sis, so the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you moisturize your skin. Now, this is really important, of course, because your skin is the focus, of course, of your makeup. You want your skin to be as hydrated and prepped as possible. So that includes exfoliating, of course, washing your face, exfoliating, and just making sure that your canvas is well prepped. If you go in on a dry skin or just unwashed, unclean skin with your makeup, you cannot expect your makeup to turn out flawless. So skincare, skin prep is number one. Now, when it comes to what kind of moisturizer you use, that is based on your skin type. So if you're oily skin, you want to go for something that is gel based. I feel like gel based moisturizers are just perfect because you don't have to worry about oil. So if you are combination or oily, just try to use any type of moisturizer that claims that it's oil free. In that way, you're getting the hydration, but don't need to worry about overproduction of oil. If you are dry skin, you want to go for something, of course, hydrating. So you guys already know I'm using all drugstore products. So a really good hydrating moisturizer and affordable moisturizer that I like to use is the e.l.f. Holy Hydration Daily Moisturizer. Now this one, on the packaging itself, it does claim that it's for all skin types. So that's why I used it for today's video, because you guys all can use it. So it has hyaluronic acid, jojoba seed oil, and vitamin E, which are all prominent ingredients that you want in a moisturizer. So I'm going to go in with this today, and all we're doing is applying it all over the face. All right, so let's move on to the next step. So your next step is your primer. Now, disclaimer, when it comes between using your moisturizer and your primer, you want to wait 1 to 2 minutes and let your moisturizer settle into your skin. This allows the product to seep in and just do its work. You don't want to go in with your moisturizer and then your primer right on top right away. So allow some time for your moisturizer to just settle into your skin before moving on to the primer step. So for today, I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer, and this is a really long-lasting smoothing primer, really good for anyone who has large pores. It's also really weightless. You don't feel it on your skin, which is a really good thing. It also has that grip so that your makeup grips and stays on your face for a long time. So I'm going to go in with this today, and I'm just going to focus this in my T-zone. Now, they do have another version of this primer. They do have it in a putty form in a pot, but I do like the liquid form. It's a lot more easier to use and a lot more hygiene safe as well, so you don't have to worry about dipping into the pot. So we're just gonna apply this in the T-zone. So this is just gonna allow my makeup to be really smooth. It's gonna look like a really smooth canvas after you've done your foundation and just everything else. All right, so the third step is your brows. Now, I always say do your brows now, because at this point you want your primer to do its work. So moving on to your brows will have you doing something while your primer is settling into your skin. So we're gonna move on to brows today. Now, when it comes to brows, it's super unique to yourself. So if you're someone that needs to use a pencil to do your brows, go ahead and use that. If you're someone that needs to use gel to just gel up your brows and keep them in place, do that as well. So this step is really, I guess, unique to the person. So do whatever you need to do for your brows now. So today I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Brow Laminating Gel. You guys know that I'm a gel girl. I love gelling down my brows just because I have a lot of brow hairs. So we're just gonna use this brow gel and just tame all my brow hairs together. This also allows your brows to stay put, which is a plus. And what I like to do is just brush my brow hairs up and then shape them in place. And then I just like to take my hand and take off the excess product around the brows. All right, so I do have a bit of sparseness going on with my brows, so that's where the brow pencil comes in, where I can kind of fill that in and bridge the gaps in between my brows and really just make it a lot fuller and more put together. So I'm going in with my NYX micro brow pencil and just filling in my brows. And I like to just use really short brow strokes to fill it in. All right, sis, so the next step is your foundation. Now, this is what's going to bring your skin to an even complexion. So if you suffer with dark spots, hyperpigmentation, acne marks, your foundation is going to bring that all to one even tone. So when it comes to foundation, you want to make sure, of course, that you're choosing the right foundation for your skin. Now, the way that you can do this is, of course, doing swatch testing. So I recommend doing a swatch on your jawline. Now, why I say jawline is because it bridges the gap between your neck and your face. So you'll definitely get a better feel of whether this foundation is for you. If you were to swatch in the middle of your face, your middle section, like your T-zone, is always lighter. So keep that in mind. You don't want to swatch in the middle of your face. Swatch on your jawline because you get a clear understanding of the shade that matches both your neck and your face. I do have a detailed video on finding your perfect foundation match, so if you haven't checked that out, I'll leave it in the cards above for you to check out, but that's just a quick way on how to do a foundation match. So a good affordable drugstore foundation I've been loving all summer is the Maybelline Lumi Matte Foundation. Now I love this because you get both worlds. So you get the luminous look as well as the mattifying look. So it's really good for combination skin girlies, even oily skin girlies. It's also very lightweight and airy, so you don't feel like there's lots of product on your face. So I'm gonna go in with this today. I am in the shade 368. Now, if you're someone who suffers with hyperpigmentation, you feel like a foundation won't do its job in terms of coverage, I always say go in with a concealer that is your skin tone to first do some spot correcting. So really focusing on the areas that have that darkness or acne marks, you just want to make sure that you kind of neutralize that before going in with your foundation. So when it comes to foundation, I like pumping it on the back of my hand. I have the control to put however much foundation on my face that I want. I highly recommend never pumping foundation on your face like this. You're wasting a lot of product. You're gonna put on too much foundation. If you don't want that cakey look, avoid putting it on directly your face. So just apply it on the back of your hands. If that's something I would recommend to everybody, is to put it on the back of your hand. So I started off with, I believe, 2 pumps. Now to really control, I always say go in with dots on your face. So you're just literally applying it on your face with your fingers, and then you're gonna go in with either your foundation brush or your beauty sponge. Guys, if you've watched enough of my videos, I do not use beauty sponges anymore. I just feel like a brush for me gives me a really good coverage. So I'm gonna go in with a brush today. This is the BK Beauty 101 brush. This is a foundation brush, and I love that it's angled and it's a really pretty large brush, so you can get a lot of blending done in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm gonna go in with this, and all you're doing is using dabbing motions to blend it out. You never want to swipe it. Don't do this. You want to dab it, or stipple it is like the real term. So you want to stipple it into your skin. So again, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to apply some dots to the skin. Guys, this is such an easy way to control how much foundation you're putting on. And after you blend, you can always just see if you want to add another layer. Around my mouth is the problem area, so I'm gonna do another layer. You don't need to put foundation underneath your eyes. Just try avoid putting extra foundation underneath your eyes. And then on the forehead. Now with the excess product that's on your brush, you can go over your nose as well. Your nose doesn't need like a pump of foundation. I just feel like your nose is such a small space that whatever's on the brush will do its job for coverage. Now you can see I still have a little bit on my hand. I'm just gonna take the rest off and just focus it in any areas that I need that extra coverage. All right, so this is how your skin should look after you've applied your foundation. Now, if you feel like you can see little spots peeping through, you can do the same steps. So pump maybe one more pump on the back of your hand and just apply it for that extra coverage. All right, so your next step is your concealer. Now, when it comes to concealer, you can use it in various different ways. So if you want to just conceal, so we're not talking about highlighting, we want to just conceal. For example, I have really dark under eyes. So if you want to conceal that, you would go in with a concealer that is your perfect match, your perfect shade, and just conceal those dark areas. And then for highlighting, you want to go in with a concealer that is 2 to 3 shades lighter than your foundation shade. So this is really going to bring back the natural highlights to your skin. Everyone has it. This is considered like your undertone. So your undertone is always 2 to 3 shades lighter than your natural complexion, your natural skin tone. So I'm actually gonna conceal my under eyes. So I'm gonna go in with a concealer that is my perfect match. So the same concealer that I used to spot correct, we're going to use it to conceal the dark under eyes. So you can also apply it on your eyelids to just conceal that darkness as well. So as you can see, we brought the under eyes and the eyelids to one even complexion, and this really just helps with canceling out that darkness. So if you want to avoid that gray under eye look, go in with a concealer that is your exact skin tone, and then you can go in with a highlighting concealer. So that's what I'm going to do now. And I'm going to take my Makeup Revolution IRL Filter Concealer. This is a soft matte concealer, and I'm in the shade C13.5. So I'm actually going to take, because I already put quite a bit of concealer on, I'm just going to apply a little bit underneath the eyes to just brighten it. And I'm going to bring it up on the sides of my nose as well to act as my nose contour as well. And then taking this brush, I actually didn't show you guys this brush, but this is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. It's such a good brush and affordable brush for beginners, but we're going to use this to blend out that concealer. And you can see, guys, I'm using such minimal amount of concealer for underneath my eyes. There's a lot of different ways that you can apply your under eye concealer. I'm actually going to apply some here to give me that natural lifted eye look. So we're just gonna blend that out. This step is not necessary, so you can just focus it in the inner corner if you want, but I just wanted that extra lift. And then you want to focus it in the vertical area, so your forehead, down the bridge of your nose, Cupid's bow, and your chin. Again, guys, everything that I use today is drugstore and affordable, so use my links below. Ulta is the perfect place for you guys. I know a lot of my sisters are from the States, so you can get pretty much all of these products from Ulta. I've left the link in my description box below. And when you're blending out your forehead, just keep it in this little area here. You just want to focus it there. Don't bring it anywhere else. And now you guys can see that the concealer that I've applied looks like light is hitting me. So you can see right here, we kind of gave the illusion of light hitting the face. That is essentially, in a nutshell, what highlighting your face is for. That's what we're doing. We're bringing back the natural highlights to our skin. All right, so next is your cream contour. So just as we brought back the natural highlights to our skin, we're bringing back the natural shadows to our skin. So when we put on foundation, we tend to give ourselves a flat complexion, no dimension, nothing. So in the makeup world, we're bringing all of that back. We're reconstructing our face, so we're bringing back the shadows. When it comes to the positioning of a cream contour, that is your perimeter. So your forehead, your jawline, your cheekbones, the side of your nose. Those are considered the areas that light doesn't touch. So they're gonna always be darker than these areas, your T-zone. So for cream contour today, I'm gonna use my NYX Wonder Stick. This is in the shade Deep, and I'm just gonna apply this to all of the contoured areas. So that's our cheekbones, like I said, and all I like to do is create a small line. I got a real tan, so, oh my gosh, can you even see this? Okay, I need to use something darker because, all right, so I don't have anything drugstore contour right now. That would have been what I would use in the winter. I got a crazy tan, guys. You guys probably can't really notice, but I did. So I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Eavesdrop Blur and Smooth Tint Stick. This is in the shade 23, and I'm gonna use this as my contour today just to show you guys so you can see where the positioning is. So we're just gonna apply just a small line. You don't need to bring it all the way up here from the top of your ears and kind of down diagonally is where I apply it. And then you want to apply it on your forehead as well, sides of your nose and your jawline. Now to blend it out, you can go in with a damp beauty sponge as well, or a brush. Today I'm going to be using my e.l.f. contouring brush to blend it out. And all you want to do is dab it into your skin. And you really want to just keep it in that area of your cheekbones. I feel like this brush is so beginner friendly because it actually allows you to keep the product in that area because of how it's shaped. So if I were to recommend a blending brush for contour, it would be this. I'll leave it in my description box below. Now for your forehead, you want to blend this way towards your hairline. Blend it into your hairline actually. So essentially we're going around the highlighted area. So the area that we applied that concealer, that contour is just kind of hovering around that. And then for your jawline, you just want to keep it on the jawline. And this is just going to give you an illusion of just a narrow jawline, especially if you're someone who has a double chin like myself. So this just really structures out the jawline. Now the thing I love about this brush is that it's angled, so you can also do your nose contour. So we're gonna blend that out as well. I know nose contour is a little intimidating. I look crazy right now, but trust me, it all comes together in the end. You just want to really take your time with blending. If there's anything I recommend is to really take your time with blending. Like that is like a game changer in your makeup application. All right, so looking at my face, you guys can see the highlighted areas and the contoured areas. This is essentially what we want our face to look like before we go in with powder. But before powder, we're gonna go in with some cream blush. So when it comes to cream blush, this can probably be the hardest thing for a beginner because blush is so in your face, you know. It's just such a strong makeup product that it could be very intimidating for beginners. So that's why I recommend applying your blush to the back of your hand, girl, just like you did with your foundation. This is gonna help you control how much product you're putting on your face. So today I'm using my e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. This is in the shade Bold Face Lilac. So I'm gonna take it out of its packaging. And I like that it's an applicator. You can go in with dots, but I feel like that's just a little bit too much for a beginner. So put it on the back of your hand. And then you just want to take a liquid blush brush. A good one that I recommend is the e.l.f. Liquid Blush Brush. When it comes to blush brushes, you want to make sure that it's tapered. So how you know it's tapered is that the bottom all comes to one point at the top. This one is not considered tapered because it's not coming to a point. It's actually more flared out. So if you ever want to know what the difference between tapered is, all together and pointy compared to fluffy. We're gonna go in with a tapered brush and we're just gonna swirl that product around so that it comes onto the brush. You have enough product on the brush. And then you just want to apply it to your cheekbones like so. And you can see that you're kind of applying it, but you're not applying it in a way where it's overpowering. This is such an easy beginner way to apply blush. So if you are someone who is a little intimidated with applying blush, put it on the back of your hand, swirl it around, and then apply. So I'm just gonna go over that line of demarcation and just make sure everything blends seamlessly together. You want to make sure that's done before you go in with powder. Make sure that everything you've done so far is blended out before you apply your powder. I cannot stress that enough because that changes everything. So blend, blend, blend. Go back in with your foundation brush. Don't put anything on, but just go over everything. This is going to give you a really finished, blended look before you apply your powder. One quick thing before I go in with my powder, I do like a more shaped brow. So I'm gonna go in with my highlighting concealer and a flat brush. And I'm just gonna take a little bit onto the brush and we're just gonna quickly shape up the brows. And then taking my e.l.f. concealer brush, we're just gonna blend that onto the lids. So you can see what that concealer did. All right, sis, so the next step is, of course, your powder, your setting powder. We need to set this in place. We cannot walk out the door like this. It's not gonna last. I already look oily, so we need to set it with some powder. So for setting powder, you want to go in with a translucent setting powder. This is just going to set all the areas that you've applied your concealer. So for today, I'm going to go in with my CoverGirl Clean Invisible Loose Translucent Deep Setting Powder. Again, this is a drugstore video, so everything that I'm using today is drugstore and very affordable. All right, so because we are setting our face, we want to go in with a setting powder. Today, I'm going to use a velour puff. I feel like velour puffs are such easy ways to set your makeup. You can also use a brush as well. A really good one is the Real Techniques setting brush. But for me, I really love using a velour puff. You can get a pack of these on Amazon. So we're gonna go in with this today and we're gonna dip it into our setting powder. Now, when you dip it into your setting powder, you don't wanna go right away with setting your under eyes with the powder that's on it. You wanna take off the excess powder on a clean surface and then set. But before you set, you want to blend as well. So just go in with your concealer brush and blend out those creases, and then go in with setting. Now, setting and baking are two different things, guys. I have a video on setting, baking, everything powders. I'll leave it on the screen above for you to check out. But right now we're setting. So that means we're pressing that powder into the skin until it disappears. So all you wanna do is just press that powder in all the areas you use that concealer. And each time, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but I'm taking off that excess and then pressing it into the skin. All right, so the next step is your bronzer. So just like we did our cream contour, we want to do our bronzer or our powder contour. So this step can either be a powder contour or a bronzer. Each one is the same. I actually do have a video on bronzers and contour. If you want a more detailed video on contouring and bronzing, check out this video up here. I'll leave it on the screen above for you to check out. But we're gonna do a bit of bronzing, and that's essentially just going over all the areas we put that liquid contour or that cream contour. So today I'm going to be using my NYX Buttermelt bronzer in the shade Butter Than You. And I'm going to go in with a BK Beauty 104 brush. Again, you want it tapered for a bronzer just because it's going to keep that product in that specific area. If you use something that's more fluffy, it's kind of going to go everywhere on your face, and you don't want that. So keep in mind, it's still fluffy but more tapered and pointed towards the end. So I'm going to dip into this bronzer and go over, and I'm just using kind of like circular motions to brush it on the face. And this is just going to really bronze and warm up the complexion. I'll actually do one side to show you guys the difference. All right, so this is the side that is bronzed. This is it, just cream contoured. So that is the difference. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. Now keep in mind, if you do get this bronzer, it's super pigmented. All I'm doing is really just tapping in it, and a lot of that product comes onto your face. So it's very pigmented, so just be careful if you are a beginner and starting out with this product. Now for my nose contour, I'm gonna take a smaller angled brush. So it looks something like this, and we're gonna use this to set the nose contour. You can use honestly any type of brush. You can even use an eyeshadow brush for this step, just something that's smaller to just set your nose contour. All right, so the next step is your finishing powder. Now this says it all in its name. It's going to finish up your complexion and really just bring your complexion to an even, just finished look. So if you really paid attention, we didn't put any powder on these surrounding areas. That is what your finishing powder is for. So it's gonna just finish up the entire face. So today I'm gonna be using my Black Radiant Soft Focus Finishing Powder. This is in the shade Milk Chocolate. And with this, I'm gonna take a really fluffy brush. This is the BK Beauty 102 powder brush. And we're just gonna dip into this. This finishing powder is really lightweight, so you don't have to worry about coverage too much. All it's really doing is setting your face. So I'm just gonna apply this everywhere. And I'm also focusing it on my nose contour to kind of dim down that harshness. All right, so the next step is your powder blush. This is considered the last powder that you're gonna use before you move on to anything else. So the reason we go in with a powder blush is to just keep that longevity of your liquid blush. So you can see a bit of my liquid blush did kind of disappear, but we do have that underlying base, which is perfect. But going in with your powder blush just allows your blush to last longer. So today I'm going to be using my NYX Buttermelt blush in the shade All the Butter. And I'm going to take my Real Techniques blush brush, dip into that blush, and we're just going to go over the areas that we applied blush. Now be careful not to go over with your blush because blush blindness is real. I have been a culprit of that. So just really take your time with your blush. But just like that, we brought back some color to the skin. All right, sis, so at this point we have our complexion completed. So we don't have to worry about doing anything else with your complexion. If you are someone who wears highlighter, you can go in with your highlighter at this point as well. So you're just applying it on the top portion of your cheekbones. You can apply it on your nose, down the bridge of your nose, your cupid's bow, honestly just all the areas where light hits again. So in these areas here, T-zone, I don't really wear highlighter, so we're not going to do it in today's video. So we're going to move on to the eyes. So I know you guys have been asking for a detailed eyeshadow tutorial. It is coming up. But in today's video, we're gonna do a really simple eyeshadow look, almost an everyday wearable eyeshadow look. So I'm gonna go in with my Revlon Color Stay Day to Night eyeshadow palette. This is considered a quad eyeshadow palette, so we only have 4 shades, which if you ask me is the perfect type of palette for a beginner. You don't have to be overwhelmed with all of the shade options, so you have a really easy palette to work with today. Today I'm gonna focus on using 2 and maybe 1 more as a pop of color, but we're gonna focus on 2 eyeshadow shades. I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. blending brush. So I'm gonna dip into a crease color from this palette. So crease color is always the darkest shade. So when you think of crease, dark. So in this palette, the darkest shade is this one here. So I'm gonna go in with this, and you wanna dust off the excess, and I'm just gonna use windshield wiper motions and apply this in my crease. So I keep dipping in and just using windshield wiper motions to blend it out. And then I start going in with circular motions to diffuse it. Now again, this is a quick eyeshadow look. Now for your lid color, you always want to go in with something that is lighter than your crease color. So in this palette, it's looking like this one here, or even something shimmery on your eyelids as well. I feel like this one is more for a night out. So I'm going to go in with the matte nude shade in the corner here, and I'm taking a flat brush. This is the BK Beauty N12 brush. So you want to use a flat brush for your lids, and we're just gonna pack this all over the lid area. So all I'm doing is patting it in. Because it is a matte shade, you want to pat it into the eyelids. You don't want to swipe it. And what this is doing is really opening up the eye, giving you a more brighter look. So I'm going to go back in with my crease brush, which was the e.l.f. blending brush, and just make sure that the 2 shades are blended together. Now, if I wanted to do a little extra, I can go in with this shimmer shade with the same brush that I use for my lids. And we're gonna dip into that and apply it in the inner corner for a pop of glitter. So we're just gonna apply that in the inner corner, and that just gives a really fun and flirty finish. Makes it look like you tried with your eyeshadow. All right, so at this step, you can move on to finishing up your eyes. You can either go in with a lash or mascara, whatever you desire. This is not a one-size-fit-all makeup look. You can really do what you want for your makeup look at this point. I feel like the focus was your skin complexion and just how to get a really flawless skin complexion. But at this point, do what you like. So I'm gonna go in with some lashes. So I'm just going in with these Beauty Supply lashes today. All right, sis, so I popped on my lashes. Super dramatic today, but we're gonna rock with it. So I'm gonna finish up the eyes, and I'm gonna put some mascara on my bottom lashes. I'm gonna go in with my Essence Get Big lashes. And something I always recommend is to complete the eye look. So whatever you did to the top lashes, do it to your bottom lashes as well. It makes all the difference. It's such a small step, but it really does make a big difference. All right, so to finish up the look, of course, we need to work on the lips. So I'm gonna do a cute drugstore lip combo that I've been loving. So I'm gonna go in with the lip liner first. Today I'm using my Revlon Color Stay Multi Liner. Now this is really good because you can use this for multiple benefits, for your brows, for your lips, for an eyeliner. Love that it's multi-benefited. So I'm gonna go in with this today as my lip liner. If you're looking for a lip liner that's similar to MAC Chestnut, this would be a drugstore edition. So this is in the shade Catalyst. So now I'm gonna go in with my lipstick of choice today. So this is the Milani Matte Naked lipstick in the shade 61, and just apply it in the center of my lips. I'm just gonna go back in with the lip liner. And the thing that I like about this is that it does have a little brush to give you that blended look for your liner. So I'm gonna use that to just blend it with the lipstick. And then you guys know me, I'm such a gloss girl, so we're gonna top it off with a gloss. So today I'm gonna be using my CoverGirl Yummy Skin Gloss. This is in the shade Sunshine Rays. All right, so we're pretty much done the complexion. To finish it off, you want to use a setting spray. So your setting spray is going to make sure that your makeup lasts throughout the day. This is such an important step. Lock in your makeup. Any type of setting spray, a long-lasting setting spray, a matte setting spray. Matte is really good for oily skin girls. A hydrating setting spray, that's really good for dry skin. So always keep in mind what your specific skin needs. That's how your makeup will turn out flawless. So I'm gonna go in with the Milani Make It Last Natural Setting Spray, and we're just gonna lock all this in place. All right, sis, so this is the finishing look. We use all drugstore products. You guys know that I love drugstore, I love affordable, I love anything that helps you guys. So hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you have any extra questions in the comments below. I love seeing your guys' comments, so comment in the section below. Give it a like as well. We're almost there, guys. On the road to 100K of just supportive women who just love to learn. I'm so excited. Just continue to share my videos, like, comment, all the stuff, all the good stuff. So that's about it. I do have a more minimal makeup look that you can check out right here if you're someone who doesn't want to do the full face. This one here is a more wearable minimal makeup look. I went in detail of how to just do your makeup that suits your face. So check this video out, of course, but that is about it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.